Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of the latest breaking news and market updates. And if you are a return viewer, make sure to click that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it, guys. Check out our website, crackingcryptocurrency.com. You will find links to the Discord and everything that we talk about in the description section down below. I am Justin Wise, co-founder of crackingcryptocurrency.com, digital asset research, bringing to you a not live because my internet's not doing so hot right now. Otherwise, I would do this live, but I am bringing you a live, for me, Bitcoin market update. Now, it is March the 24th, and current recording time is 10:35 p.m. A little late in the evening for me here, but I just want to bring this video to you guys and let you see what I'm seeing in the markets today. So, let's talk about some interesting pieces of news that I heard. Let me switch over. Nah, just keep it just like right here. Actually, I like that. Sorry about that. Little technical, guys. So, heard some news today. Obviously, WAN Chain or WAN Chain, however you want to say it, which is an ICO I was talking about quite a while back. You know, I was really excited to see it listed. Just blew up today when it got listed and traded at well over 10x its ICO price, so which was an amazing ROI for those of you who got into WAN Chain. This is one we were talking about back in the day. I did not get into WAN Chain. I kind of wanted to, but I was late to the game. I messed with some other ICOs. So just wanted to bring that to you guys. That was a really interesting one. I'm not going to look at the chart. I want to let things kind of settle down on that one before I look into entering a position. Again, I've said this many times. The typical thing that I've seen with many coins that are freshly listed, especially really hot and hyped ICOs, is that one of two things happen. The price immediately dumps or the price immediately spikes. If the price immediately dumps, that's obviously people who don't have a lot of faith in the project in the future, and they're just dumping off their coins because it usually lists at a higher price than when they bought in during the ICO. And if the price spikes, alternatively, then that means that it is a really exciting project. People really want to get into it. People really want to buy it, and they end up driving it all the way up. And then those ICO investors dump pretty hard, usually at very lucrative gains. So I'm going to wait for that to happen. I don't see anything going parabolically up forever, so I'm not FOMOing in. I don't think I'm missing out on anything. Again, I didn't get in, so when I do get in, if I do get in, I'll look for the best advantageous entry point for myself and for our premium members. So, all right, some other news talking about Binance. Binance said that they are going to move. There was a bunch of FUD yesterday or over the last few days about Binance supposedly getting some negative news from Japanese regulators, and that you can see in the Bitcoin markets that Bitcoin went down a little bit almost as soon as that news hit, and a lot of markets went down simultaneously. But this was very short-lived FUD because it came out today that for whatever reason, probably maybe because of this, maybe not, but Binance is talking about moving. They're going to be moving to the island of Malta, and when they do get there, they are going to open up fiat to crypto, and this is huge news, guys. Binance is the absolute largest exchange in the world by trading volume currently, and if they implement fiat, it will just remove one more barrier for people to get into crypto. These are the things we want to see to spread mass adoption, to spread the ease of fresh new money to enter into the system, and I think Binance is doing the absolutely correct thing right here. They're also really blowing up on social media right now. They're hiring a bunch of people. They're expanding their operation. So this is really something to pay attention to and watch. I think it's really cool that they got their hacker bounty program, their bug bounty program basically right now. So they're saying, listen, if you manage to find a security flaw in our system, instead of trying to exploit that, we'll pay you more. We'll give you a really nice fat bounty reward. And I think that's the way to go. You got to incentivize people to do the right thing. So some other stuff that happened today, but nothing super major. I think you guys should go over. You should search YouTube and find that Peter von Valkenburg was on Epicenter talking about his latest hearing with the banking subcommittee. I thought that was really an interesting listen to, and how he's talking about the future of regulation, especially in the United States. If you are an American investor, if you are an American cryptocurrency trader, obviously regulation is something that is heavy on your mind and heavy on our hearts, but I think that we're seeing very positive things moving forward. Check out our Wyoming video, where Wyoming is basically saying that utility tokens are not securities. That's also really bullish news. I'm seeing And you see this in bear markets, especially with Bitcoin. And we've just been around for a while, guys, at Cracking Crypto. We've seen this happen. We've seen the market go through a bear cycle for several years, and then we've seen it blow up, and we've seen it go through another bear cycle. And we've seen Mt. Gox, we've seen these things all before. And it always happens the same. People start seeing people in the hype times, people are, Bitcoin to the max, it's the thing. And when they end up losing a lot of money, which you don't lose anything until you sell. And with Bitcoin, you should never sell. You should just hodl. If you're going to trade it, that's fine. We do that. But if you're thinking that you need to sell it so that you can get your value out, you're absolutely insane. You're absolutely crazy. They're the two greatest inventions of the last 100 years. And one was the internet, and the second one is Bitcoin. And I'm pretty positive that Bitcoin will end up having the more impactful event. It's the more impactful event. The internet freed centralized authority from the flow of information, and Bitcoin's goal is to free centralized authority from their grasp on money. And Bitcoin is the digital revolution. There's so much positive things going for Bitcoin right now. It's more secure than it's ever been. The network's stronger than it's ever been. Governments are starting to talk about adopting it around the world. You guys got to pay attention to the macro stuff going on here. Circle just bought Poloniex. Circle is backed by Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan's starting to develop their own blockchain. Look at the stuff that Hyperledger's doing. Binance is opening fiat to crypto. Japan has already accepted Bitcoin as legal tender. China is talking about adopting programs to bring blockchain entrepreneurs into their system. Canada is vying to be the blockchain capital of the world. Wyoming in the United States is trying to attract ICOs through a bunch of different laws, trying to attract blockchain entrepreneurs. The CFTC is very positive about a self-regulatory organization. Check out that video that we just shot the other day. There's just so much potential for Bitcoin moving forward. It's stronger than it's ever been. It's more popular than it's ever been. Google searches are going up. The Meyer multiple is down. This is the time to be buying, guys. And we can see price fluctuations of a few $1,000s or even more, but your investment is secure. Bitcoin is the future, and it's something that is not going to zero. It is something that there is a exponentially higher potential probability of Bitcoin going to 1 million than it is going to 0. And I put my money where my mouth is. A large portion of my portfolio is in Bitcoin. I've been a Bitcoin believer for a long time. And all you guys have to do is just look around and look at what's behind the scenes and look at what's really going on in a macro sense. And you guys can start to see that. But I understand the fear and anxiety and depression that comes along when the price starts going down. And you guys just got to stop at that point. You got to stop looking at the money. You got to stop looking at Blockfolio. You got to stop looking at all your losing investments unless they're in altcoins. Some of those you should probably cut. We can have a conversation about that later. We just got to look at the macro on that too. These things move in market cycles, and you guys have seen the market cycle chart, the psychology of a market chart. And you guys just want to believe, you get afraid and think that it's never going to come back, and it will, and it does, and it always happens, and this is how things move. And Bitcoin, it's still so early in Bitcoin, guys, that if you're getting in, you are still an early adopter. So don't lose heart, don't lose faith, don't get depressed. If it's messing with you, take a step back, do more research, study the metrics of Bitcoin, how it works, start to understand how the protocol works, how the system works, run a full node, learn how to send a Bitcoin, do all the basic stuff so that you can develop that faith and belief in something that is going to change our entire world for the better. For the better. I mean, this is money that grows in value as it sits in your pocket. It's not money that's eaten away by inflation from a corrupt government. This is amazing stuff, and this is the greatest space in the world to be in right now. It's where all the innovation is happening. It's where all the new technology is coming out. And I personally would not want to be in another one. So let's go ahead and jump to the charts. I'm sorry, guys. I wax loquaciously sometimes. So here we are on TradingView, and I apologize. Listen, my internet sucks right now. I am in the middle of the Arctic tundra ice storm of the century. Came out of nowhere last night. I took my daughter to a glow stick dance, a little glow in the dark rave party dance for her Girl Scout troop. And coming back, just the sleet started coming out of the sky, out of nowhere. I could not see in front of me. I had to pull over, and we had to wait for a while for the weather to get better before we could start driving. When I was driving around in it this morning, it's Arctic wasteland out there, here in the Midwest. So So I apologize if my internet's a little slow. Bear with me. That's why I'm not doing this live, because it would take forever. So here we are in TradingView. And listen, I've heard this before. People are like, oh, your charts are really cluttered. Like, no, they're not. You just have to know this is the system I use. I understand every line. I've plotted every line. A lot of this stuff is custom code of mine, and or from the other developers here at Kraken Crypto. And just bear with me, guys. It's not that difficult to understand. Okay, so one thing I want to point out, I had drawn let me zoom out here and zoom down just a little bit. All right. Now, I'm not an Elliott wave guy, so I'm not going to try to mess around with that for you guys. I know that some people have asked me. I understand Elliott waves. I can draw them out, but I find that my system is far more reliable the way that I look at the charts, just based on price action for the most part, and my countdown indicator, and the Ichimoku with my custom settings, and the turtle script that I've written. You know, this stuff is far more reliable to me than Elliott waves, which are so subjective. It borders on ridiculous. Not saying that Elliott wave users are wrong or fallacious. It's just not really my bag. Anyway, so the last time I had drawn this descending pitchfork, and here's the median line. All right. And when we had come down and dipped down and touched the median line previously, I had drawn this circle right here. You guys can go check me out on Steemit at JWiseFree and see that I had drew the circle here, and I was talking about I'm looking to accumulate here if we dip down this low. And you can see that after we came up and tested the cloud resistance up here, this overhanging cloud resistance, and this major resistance cluster that we've been experiencing for the last couple months, we came back down to test the median line, and we wicked just right above. And this was obviously the zone of maximum profit potential, granted here. And we had a much higher low than our last dip down here when we hit that market low of like 5,900. So we are experiencing a higher low. Let's take a look a little bit more in depth at what's going on. So today is an interesting day. We're looking at a price flipping candle right now. I've been watching this for the last hour or so. Now it's 10:46 p.m. And the UTC closes at 6 p.m. Central Time where I'm at. So this candle is only about 4 hours old. But I've seen it go from not the indicator, because it'd have to close 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd have to close higher than this to have a bullish price flip. But I've seen this go from a red to a green candle body several times over the last hour. So this is an exciting time. We're seeing buyers step in. I think probably reacting to a lot of the positive news that happened today. So let's see here. I had previously said when we began our 2 count to the upside, I said that once we had a trade on a green 2 above a green 1, I drew this line. When this candle, the last posts I made in the Discord, this candle was brand new and was just forming, and it went up a little bit and then came down and was going up and coming down. And I'd drawn this line, and I said, listen, once we start trading above this line, you have your entry for a short position with your stop loss set. I mean, really, it would be set below the swing low is how you would do this on the daily chart. Some of you thought that was a little tight. You might have been able to set it here. Pardon me. Now, granted, that's a little objective. I'm just going for an area that's, you don't want to set your stop loss too tight. You don't want to get stopped out, but it's also safe to set a tight stop loss. Granted that we are in a bearish condition market, so it's just safer to set a tighter stop loss. And then once you were nice and closed above this position, you want to move your stop loss up to break even, is what I had said. And that would have been a very profitable trade. You can see a logical place to have exited that trade would be once we got close to the 200-day moving average to kind of get out and evaluate. The 200-day moving average is obviously going to be a key area of resistance, especially as price is pulling up into this death cross that people are talking about. Now, I have my death cross up here. It hasn't happened for me yet because I have the 200-day moving average here, and this is the 55-day exponential moving average. So I prefer not to use the simples. For the simples, I pretty much just use the 200-day moving average. Sometimes I use the 50, but I find my 12, 26, and 55 EMA are far more reliable. You can also see that we bounced off the Fibonacci line is where we bounced off. These are these big violet lines right here. So This obviously was a logical place to bounce off. Intersection of the median line with a Fibonacci line and a lower low, working on an 11 side to the downside, or excuse me, an 11 count down to the downside. Now I think I will be happy if we can have this 13 count interrupted, which will happen once we trade. Well, we've got to go up quite a bit for that to actually happen, but that 13 count would be canceled if we can get up here to the upper 10,000 area, which is where the previous trend setup line is. Now, so let's talk about what we're doing right now. So we've had a bearish price flip right here, and we're now trading down. Now this candle could go green and we could see a reversal right here, but we are working on a setup to the downside. And again, I was talking about once we have a green 2 trading above a green 1, you can enter into a long. It's the exact same in reverse here. Once we have a red 2 trading below a red 1, which is going to be about 8,471, you can enter into a short, and your stop loss would be the swing high on a short. If you want to set that tighter, you can set that as tight as you want. Again, these are uncertain times, uncertain markets. Trade safely, preserve your capital. I'm just giving you the basics, the basic rules of how you would do it and how I generally do things. So obviously I'm waiting right now to see this candle. It wicked down, it's wicked back up. I'm just going to wait and see how this candle forms. Now, pardon me. It's been a long day. So, and you can see here too that we've come up to test the top of this pitchfork coming down, this top of this trading zone, this descending trending zone, this descending trending channel, and we've come up. We tried to break through it. We got rejected from the 200-day moving average, and that increased bearish momentum to the downside. So now we're kind of hovering around this line and seeing if we're going to bounce off of it, if this is going to be support, if we're going to get rejected from it. So if we do get rejected, if this downside momentum continues, where could I see this going? Well, I could see this going down to the Fibonacci line again. So that's going to be that 7,645 level, or I could see us possibly going down to test the median zone all the way down to 6,834, depending on how quickly this moves up or down. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen. I think that the Fibonacci zone right here is strong support. You can see that we basically reversed here, even though price wicked down significantly lower. So we'll just have to see exactly how this plays out. It will be interesting to see in the short term. So again, we're in a no trade zone for me. We've got a lot of overhanging resistance, but I think that we are in a good accumulation zone. We've had some declining volume as we moved up, which is kind of a contradictory signal, but there's just a lot of interesting stuff here, guys. We're looking at possible resistance zones here. Here's the Kijun right here, and that's sitting at about 9,096. The Tenkin about 9,322 for the Ichimoku. What I'm really looking for us to do is, I think it's quite possible that we didn't have quite enough momentum to bust through this 200-day moving average. So I think what we might have to do is retrace back down here to the Fibonacci, or perhaps a little bit more, to accumulate and really develop that upward momentum to come up and next time bust through that 200-day moving average, because I think that's where the big overhang of resistance is going to be moving forward. And I think that coincidentally that could coincide with some really positive news coming out. Obviously, we were talking about regulation. I think that if we can get some nice piece of news where the American government kind of takes a more firm or serious stance on how they're going to regulate crypto, I think once the SEC comes out and tells us exactly how they're going to deal with ICOs and basically tells us that, hey, we're going to leave Bitcoin alone, which is what they should do, I think that that will be the catalyst for a really positive price move. And that corresponds with my technical analysis that we didn't have enough momentum to break through the 200-day moving average on this pass. So that means that if that is true and we are going to retrace, a short position that you enter in here once we trade below this red one, I think would be a very profitable trade. Again, looking at this target of the Fibonacci line at 7,650, give or take, and then down here possibly lower to the median line. This is arbitrary of where it will actually touch down because we never know how long it could take. It could take a long time, but I'm just not seeing it going down that far. That's why I try to make these frequently so that I can keep you guys updated. So let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else interesting going on with the charts. I mean, that's basically where we're at, guys. We didn't have enough momentum to break through. Looks like we might be retracing a little bit, but it's possible we could reverse here and come back up. Anything could happen. Just keep your eyes peeled. Again, that's the position I'm going to take. So let's go look at ETH. This is probably going to take an hour to load. Oh, no, it did not. All right, so Ethereum continues its downward slide, sadly. We had obviously that negative bit of news come out about how a lot of ICOs were dumping a whole bunch of Ethereum. They got bills to pay, and that was kind of indicated. That news came out, around here just recently. It wasn't so long ago they just started doing this, but you can see just this massive bump of volume right here off this, and we got the nice clop indicator on the countdown to let us know that, hey, the price might reverse right here. But we are in a countdown. We are in a 13 countdown to the downside. I had also indicated this box. I think it was here where we're going to have resistance right here at the 200-day moving average. And sometimes it just sucks being right. The intersection of the 12 and the 200-day moving average. So you can see just the same with Bitcoin. We have broken down the 200-day moving average. We kind of developed a little bit of momentum down here at the downside. A lot of people pushed this price back up, bought that dip, but we did not have enough momentum to break through the 200-day moving average. Just resistance was too great. So it looks like we're gonna consolidate down a little bit. I think that this might be a tight trading zone right here, or we're gonna continue this slow downwards just trend until we can reach some potential area, because we can just see this was the hugest area of volume right here, right around this area. You can see, and I think it's this candle right here where people were just trying so desperately to push the price down. So this is pretty interesting. But it looks like we're consolidating or moving down a little bit. So nothing super clear there. In the long term, we were still short in this ever since we had this red 2 trading below the red 1, and we have not had a positive price flip since that. So for those of you who have been following for a while, this has been pretty profitable short for us. So we'll keep you updated as we move forward. Looking at Litecoin. Let's see here. Litecoin, kind of the same boat, but reversed. Here we came down to the 200-day moving average and reversed up, and now we're meeting resistance around the 12-day EMA. But we're in a tighter range on Litecoin, definitely trading at about $159 right now. And yeah, this has just been a much tighter range. And you can see here that we were getting all kinds of different, long and short signals right here. So again, we got rejected from the 12-day EMA. So let's see if we have to come back down to the 200-day moving average to test it before we can gain some momentum, because we reversed quite strong here. So I'd expect that we're either going to see that again, or that we are going to develop a little bit more bullish momentum and break through these zones. Again, really not excited until we can move up. I try to look at the big picture here, guys. So, these small moves are exciting, but I'm looking for us to either A, break down past the 200-day moving average, or I'm really looking for us to come up and break into the cloud and move up and bust past it. Because once we get into the cloud, we'll go up here. And if we get up here, if we can find this as support, I think that'll be really positive moving forward. But I think a lot of this stuff, even though I tend not to trade the news, I think a lot of this stuff is going to correspond with what's going to happen over the next couple months. I think that we're going to see a couple more months possibly of consolidation, and then I think that in the summer, once some news about regulation comes out and things are finalized, and you have to understand that simultaneously right now, big institutions are starting to develop their own crypto portfolios and projects and assets and consolidating along that line. And until they're done, I don't think we're going to see this huge pump. But we are going to see that pump in 2018, guys. 2018 is going to be massive for cryptocurrencies, and this is the time to be buying. This is the time to be accumulating and consolidating, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I've been buying as much Bitcoin as I can get my hands on. So, all right, I think that's going to be it for the charts. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button so you can keep updated with the latest and breaking in the charts and in the market and in the news. If you are a returning viewer, make sure to give us those thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Head on over to crackingcryptocurrency.com. We got a Monero V airdrop timer that's coming out, the hard fork timer, and please check out our video on Monero V that we just shot the other day. I think you'll find that very informative. So, quick disclaimer, guys. This is not intended to be financial advice. This is not considered to be investment advice or even trading advice, all right? This is for my entertainment and your education. If you find it helpful, let me know. I appreciate it. If you think that I know what I'm talking about, or think that I know what I'm doing, and I know that I am, and I think that I do, feel free to comment, reach out, let me know. Hop in the Discord. I'm in there all the time. We can talk, we can chat, we can look at charts. We can have a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate this. But mostly, do your own research and protect your own capital, guys. I am Justin Wise for Cracking Crypto. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. I hope you continue to have a wonderful day, and I hope your trading and your investments work out well. Have a wonderful day.